Okay, clase, buen día. Here's just a quick walkthrough with Capítulo 4, our guide to completing the activities. In this chapter, it's pretty much straightforward with maybe one or two exceptions, so we'll just go through those. I hope you find the first part interesting, where you discover many influences of different words in Spanish from different languages, including Arabic and the indigenous languages of the Americas. Um, just evidence that languages are always evolving and growing. Okay. So the vocabulary is straightforward. Just one of the recommendations I always have, especially with la casa y el apartamento, is to use your post-it notes and label things in all rooms. El baño, la cocina, el cuarto, la habitación. That way you get to practice using those. With this activity in 4.3, where it asks you to work with someone, just go ahead and answer the questions for yourself. And that's the best practice. And then in this part, you'll just simply make lists on Actividad 4.4. You're just making lists of the things that you find in those different places. Like I said, this could serve as an opportunity to make post-it notes so you can have your house labeled. Okay, with Actividad 4.5, mi cuarto, this is a good activity to help you learn the vocabulary for your specific room. Your dormir. Remember, there's lots of different words for room. It's cuarto, habitación, recámara, alcoba. So whichever seems easiest for you to remember. There is a space in Canvas for you to upload the drawing, since it's not able to be uploaded here in Javis. You can include the description that you write here. If you'd like to include that on your drawing, please feel free to do that as well. Have fun with the Mi Casa de Sueños. It's always nice to dream about where you want to live. Okay, for the presentación oral, we'll continue with the same practice in the presentación oral número uno. Just follow the guidelines in the discussion board there. Always remember to read the rubric, la rubrica, as a guide. For our actividad con algunos verbos irregulares, stem changing verbs, I hope you noticed throughout the whole program so far, there are videos embedded in the textbook which will help you understand the verb conjugations for the things that we're talking about. So please, if you haven't done so, watch the videos embedded there, and then that will help you understand all of the verb issues that we are studying right now. Okay, just a reminder that as we have activities like Actividad 4.8, where it's asking for a dialogue between you and someone else, please go ahead and write the pregunta and la respuesta for each of those. And one of the most important tools we're gaining in Capítulo 4 is the fact that we're practicing using two verbs together. Whenever that happens, we change the first verb but leave the second verb unchanged. So we say, ¿Quieres estudiar? Do you want to study at home today? Okay, so just practice that. The first one is conjugated, the second one is not, because just like in English, when we have an infinitive, estudiar means to study. But when we throw a verb in front of it, ¿Quieres? Do you want to study? If we wouldn't change both verbs, because if we said ¿Quieres estudias? That would mean, do you want you study? Okay, so having one verb in the conjugated form and the second verb in what we call the infinitive or unchanged form, that allows us to make understandable sentences. ¿Quieres estudiar? And it may take some practice, but that will happen. Okay. No quiero estudiar. You see the two things there. Okay, so practice that with las invitaciones. Again, since it's a conversation, make sure and write out la pregunta y la respuesta. Okay, in this section, llave 3 of Capítulo 4, we're going to talk about our daily routines. ¿Qué haces en un día típico? ¿Cuál es tu rutina diaria? Please make sure and check out the examples here with each image, and as I mentioned previously, watch the embedded video. Again, if you haven't been doing that, those exist in all chapters, and we'll moving forward at least in Llaves 1. Okay, these verbs are special verbs because we call them reflexive verbs. The English equivalents are here. Again, this is explained in the video here. Basically, we're talking about what we can do to ourselves and others, okay? And they're indicated by the special verbs that are here, right? Again, context is important, so make sure and understand everything that's around the setting for each of the actividades so you'll understand what you're saying. Okay, this section, the actividad 4.19, repaso, preguntas personales. We saw this in Capítulo 3. We'll see it again in Capítulo 5. Again, this asks you to work with a friend. If you can do that, that's fine. If not, go ahead and write la pregunta y respuesta. We'll be reviewing all of these in Módulo 7, in Module 7, so you can save the work that you do here, and then we'll be fleshing it out some more as we move into Módulo 7. Okay, for our Diario 3, you'll be talking about your rutina diaria, a typical day. Okay, not what you do one day, but what you typically do on each day. What time you get up, what time you go to school or work, what time you go to bed, that kind of thing. And we'll follow the same practices as usual, where you'll turn in a first version, then I'll review it and give you comments for the final version. And don't forget to look at the rubrica. Okay, just a quick mention on the Cultura, Dia de los Muertos. These are all possibilities for 3C's activities. Again, we'll be covering, you'll be putting together your 3C's portafolio de las 3C during modules 6 and 7, módulo 6 y 7. You'll do 5 in each module. This is one where you can watch the movie using one of the cuestionarios. You can do it in Inglés or in Español and answer those things, and that can be one of the entries in your 3C's. And then on this page, there are quite a few options. Since we were talking about houses, you can make a video of a tour of your house or apartment. Again, this is for Módulo 6 or 7. Don't need to do it now unless you want to. Or you can do this actividad discovering Antonio Gaudí, who was an important figure in architecture and building, and especially Barcelona in Spain. So just pick which ones you would like to do. Okay? All right. Well, let me know if you have any questions. Adios.